So in today's video, what we got going on is we are creeping towards the end of 2024, getting into 2025. Now I have 4 vehicles that we still have over at the shop. We have the 84 El Camino, I have a 70 Cadillac, I have an 80 Mustang, and I have a 65 GMC 2500. I know you can't see where I'm pointing, but that's besides the point. So what I'm thinking for this video is I want to hit on each one of those 4 cars, where we are at the end of 2024. So what I'm thinking is I want to discuss with you each one of those vehicles, a little bit of detail of what they are, what we're doing, what still needs to be done, and the overall plan on some of them. Keep in mind, we have vehicles in all different states. We have the shop truck that's completely done. This one here, the Honda body swapped El Camino, that's like 98% done. We have the Cadillac, which doesn't need too much. And then we have the Mustang, which needs pretty much everything. So let's get started.
And now, you're watching the New Year's resolution that is more money in the college fund and less money spent on feet pics channel of YouTube. Welcome to Bodie Vision.
Hey, so what is up and welcome. Thanks so much for joining me yet again on another video. So the first of 4 vehicles that we are going to start off with is my 1965 GMC 2500. This was built at the beginning of the year. The original intention for this truck was that it's going to be a work truck for me. Later on in the year, I got a newer truck because we just needed something that was going to be rock solidly new, reliable, comfortable, that I could take the family with, something that could at least fit 3 or 4 people. So the shop truck didn't end up being that great for that. So we ended up doing a giveaway on it, and the giveaway was just the other day, and then a few days ago the winner of the truck came out to check it out. And then once we are back to today, I will give you some final thoughts on the GMC 2500 that I called the dumper. So it turns out the winner of the shop truck actually lives a few hours away, which is crazy. I mean, if you saw the live stream, you saw it was as legit as it could get. We just did a random number. Go back and check out that stream. I put a lot of time and effort and energy into that to make sure that it looked pretty good, and I'm happy with how that stream was. So he wanted to come out, check out the truck until we figure out how to get it to him. I'll either just bring it to him, or I'll trailer it up to him or over to him. I don't know exactly where he's at, but part of the deal is if you ever win anything from me, it is my responsibility to get it to you. I don't want that cost to be passed to you. I will cover all of that cost. So he should be pulling up any second. We will take a look at the truck, go over it, and see what he thinks. You got to understand, not everybody wants to be on the camera, but I'll set something up. Hopefully he gives us a halfway decent reaction, and we can go over the truck. This is it. Good truck. You'll see the seat. Look, seat's pretty tall. You can go ahead and open it. Put your thumb in on there. Yep, there you go. And man, at the end of the day, it is an old truck. Yeah. You know, like it's what's that? I don't know. I think like 15 or 10, 10 or 15. So there's 2. That's safety. All right, so the winner, Domingo, he came out, he checked out the truck. Now I kind of try to get a feel for people, whether they want to be on camera or whether they're going to be comfortable. And you got to understand, this isn't the Price is Right where we pick your name and you're going to be hooting and hollering and screaming. And a lot of the things that you might see for giveaways, I have a feeling that a lot of them are fake, because not everybody's going to turn the corner and just go, oh man, crazy, like Pimp My Ride style. It doesn't happen like that. I mean, I think a lot of these guys that win the truck, I mean, they're appreciative that they won it, but they're just gonna come check it out. I think they're already excited because they knew they won a few days ago. So that's what we got in this case. Him and I had a good time running over the truck. We took it out for a spin. I drove it, he drove it. Everything was really good. We did some paperwork and that truck is gone. 1965 GMC 2500 Chevy small block, 1-ton axles. It was a 3/4 ton truck. If it would have been a 1-ton truck, we would have saw the frame boxed in, but that's the difference for those. So that truck was built earlier this year in 2024. I'm sad to see it go, but it was a great build. I learned a lot along the way as far as building a vehicle, as far as doing giveaways, as far as a lot of stuff. It was a great stepping stone for me to move on to another project. So speaking of another project, what I want to move on to next. So what I'm thinking is the GMC 2500, that thing was like done, the most complete. That thing is gone. So let's go down the list to the next most complete, and the next most complete is my 1984 Honda CR-V body swapped El Camino. It's an El Camino sitting on an all-wheel drive turbo CR-V. So let's go ahead and check that one out and go over it. What I've done this past week, what you haven't seen, and what I still need to do to get this thing finished. So this guy right here, this has took the majority of my effort in 2024, as far as we've spent the most amount of time in 2024 working on this thing. What this is a 1984 El Camino on a Honda CR-V. It is the older Honda CR-V. I think it's a 1997. It's hard for me to keep track of all of this stuff, but it's a 97 CR-V, 84 El Camino. So what we essentially did was we took the El Camino and we turned it into an RC car shell. So it was completely stripped down to nothing, just the body. I mean, the front end wasn't bolted on, the floor of the bed was removed, the entire floor was gone, every single part of it was gone besides the exterior. We did the opposite thing for the CR-V and extended the floor to match the wheelbase. So we had the floor of the CR-V, we had the body of the El Camino, and we dropped it on there. And why I chose to do a Honda swapped Chevy vehicle, it seems kind of crazy and weird, but a Honda CR-V came in all-wheel drive manual B series, and B series is a type of Honda motor. They have B18, B16, B20. This is a B20, and if you put a turbo on one of these, you can make some pretty good power. If you wanted to build something, you could make really good power before it wants to explode. Stock motor might blow around 350, 400, but that's going to be plenty good for what this vehicle is and for how much it weighs and everything. So all-wheel drive, Honda powered, stick shift, turbo El Camino. Really cool build. So that's kind of what it is. What we still need, just this past week, as we've been going through the holidays and stuff, I had the windshield removed as well as the back glass removed. So let's go into a little bit of that footage until we get right back here. Alright, and here we are back at the car. So why the windshield did not go in right away, we have a brand new front. The back I just wanted to be resealed. It needs to be resealed because it was leaking. The front was cracked. So why it did not go in right away is we have the trim clips for the front and everything, but I needed to order new trim clips for the rear. So I'm waiting on those trim clips to come in. Also, in the meantime, I have bled the clutch. So this car is driving. It can move, stick shift, the clutch, and all that stuff is good. But the brake lines were old. The rubber brake lines were just clogged and not working very well. So these just came in this morning. I have brand new rubber lines, the flexible lines for the front. So I need to get the brakes bled on this thing in order to drive around. So we are just waiting on windshield. I got to do the brakes. Also, the seats are at the upholstery shop. I got to get the door panels to the upholstery shop. And also this past week I did a little bit of fiberglass work on these A-pillars to get them to go to the custom dash mat that I made. All fiberglass stuff, because when you're doing a body swap and you're running a dash in a vehicle that was never meant to receive that dash or never meant to have that dash, some stuff is going to be weird. And I found that the best way to fill in those gaps is fiberglass. Then you can just do a little bit of body work, throw some fabric over it, and it'll look OEM super solid, really good. So after we get the glass in, we just have a couple loose ends. Dude, this car is like 99% done. Then it's gonna hit the dyno, we're going to tune it, and then this car is done. And this car will probably be a giveaway car. So if you are interested in winning this car, look out for that at the beginning of 2025, because we need to keep these things moving, and I do not have room to keep them all. So that's where we are at on the 1984 El Camino. So moving on to next on the list is something that's kind of an oddball for me, but something that I am so excited for 2025. I got this car in a series of trades, and dude, I am in love with this thing. 1970 Cadillac Fleetwood 75 series, meaning it's a long wheelbase limo 9-seater passenger vehicle. This thing is such a cool build. So what I have on order for this thing is a full air ride kit. We are going dual tanks, dual compressors, bags all the way around. Obviously we are going to get this thing to lay out on the floor, because at over 20 feet long we need this thing to be aired out. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 feet long. So I know if you keep up with the channel, you might have just saw this vehicle and nothing really changed, but I did want to let you know that bags are on the way. The roof, we need to get a brand new soft top going for this thing. I don't know if soft top is the right word because it's a hard top, so it's more of like a vinyl top or Landau, but full roof, I've seen Landaus as whatever it is, we need to get that fixed because that's what this car had originally, and the roof is just destroyed. So we need to get the glass pulled out of this thing, and the glass right now is just sitting in there. I don't want to mess with it because I don't want to crack it, but as we are working on the glass for the El Camino, the glass guy gave me a quote on this as well. So their overall plan for now, do the air ride, pull the glass, redo the roof with the vinyl top. I need to fix all of this metal because somebody in the past had just used spray foam to try to fix it. And this thing, you know, interior, got to get it looking solid. The windows don't work. This window is just open at all times, so I've just been keeping a tarp over it. Car cover, I couldn't find a car cover long enough for this thing, so a tarp will work for now. This thing, 472, big block, automatic transmission, such a cool vehicle. The reason why I'm so excited for this is because I'm just going to hit the streets with this thing. I want to pick up my daughter from school. I mean, dude, how cool is it gonna look to hop out of the limo with her backpack? And this is just something that I am personally excited for. I think it's going to be a really cool build for the channel. So starting from the top, literally, we need to fix the top, do suspension for this thing, wheels, and a paint job. Interior, not a terribly long list for such a long vehicle. So this car should be coming up next because there's not too much to do before it can get on the road and I can start to enjoy it. We can have a whole lot of fun with this. So look out for this thing at the beginning of 2025 because this is what we are getting into as soon as the El Camino is done, or possibly even sooner. We might start trading off working on the El Camino to start working on this. So the Cadillac is making me really excited for 2025. Let's go ahead and move on to the other side of the yard for the final vehicle, which is going to be something else that we are going to get into in the new year. I'm talking about the 1988 wide body magazine Mustang. So here we are, moving on to last but certainly not least, but definitely needing the most amount of work in order to become something. So here's a fair warning. As I'm telling you my plans for projects, these plans could change depending on how well they perform on my channel, depending on how much I like the direction of the build and how well it's going. So I'm just going to tell you my ideas, and these ideas could potentially change. So for something like this Fox body Mustang, this vehicle was in a magazine in the early 90s, full metal construction wide body 1988 Mustang GT. This is just a roller. We have no motor, no transmission, we have nothing. We have no door panels. This car needs pretty much everything. As far as the interior goes, we just have some eBay special seats, so we need to put some seats in here. Door panels, the dash is partially there. There's no back seats. Well, half of the back seats are there. No carpet. This vehicle needs so many things that I'm just thinking it's going to be a little bit cheaper to buy a Fox body Mustang, whether I can find a cheap one, maybe a convertible. The convertibles tend to go for a little bit cheaper. So buy a good running and driving convertible, transfer every single thing over to this vehicle. So if we went that direction with this build, we would have the 302 high output motor, the 302 HO that would have came in this vehicle in the early 90s, late 80s, get this thing running and driving, and then make the body look really nice as far as go through it, block out every square inch of this thing, paint it, get it looking really solid as almost like a full throwback style restoration to a car that was built in the early 90s, making it look crazy but keeping the respect to the original car and what it originally was. Because this car was in a magazine, that's the motor it would have had, that's just the body kit style that they chose to do back then, and that's the direction I am thinking I am wanting to go. Initially I was thinking, why don't we put a Coyote in this thing and just make it all out crazy, but I don't know if I feel like it's absolutely necessary to spend an additional $10,000 into a build where the motor isn't the crazy part. The crazy part is the body, and it's going to be the paint and how nice it looks, but it could add to it. Is it going to add that much value if I put a Coyote in it? Is it going to make it that much better? It would definitely make it better, but is it going to make the amount of money worth it on the back end. I don't know. That's something that I need to consider. Also, if you get a vehicle that's a shell, if you've ever bought a shell, you know how much stuff can add up. Like, for example, if you need to get a radiator, all these lines, all the fittings, just if you need to do all new brakes in it, buying a car is a big hit up front, but it is definitely cheaper in the long run to just get a parts vehicle that you can steal everything off of. So if I got another Fox body Mustang that was running and driving, I don't see why I'd have to spend a lot more money besides the initial investment of buying a full another car. Also, we're gonna have to put wheels on this thing, obviously something super wide, something that'll look correct. And that's where my mind's kind of at on the wide body Mustang build. Since this needs the most amount of work, this is at the end of the list. And just like that, you saw all 4 projects, starting with the shop truck, the El Camino, Cadillac, and then finishing off with the wide body Mustang. I could not be more excited for 2025, and I am extremely thankful for everybody who's watched and supported throughout 2024. Overall, it has been a great year for me and the channel, and I'm looking forward to 2025. I'm looking forward to getting this thing done. That Cadillac, I'm gonna pick up my kid from school, and that Mustang, we are going to confuse a lot of people by the time it's done. The thing is with the Mustang, I want people to look at it and say, I hate that, and I want people to look at it and say, I love that. But as long as both of those people are interested enough in checking it out, I'm going to consider it a win. And also, if you hate it, I'm not going to take it personal, because in the end, I did not build or design that car. I'm just bringing it back to what it was. So that's kind of a final thought on the Mustang. Final thought on the shop truck. I'm extremely sad to see it go, but it is what it is. It served its purpose for me. So making a video like this allowed me to take some time off these last 2 weeks of the year. My kids been out of school and we've just been hanging out around the house. I've also been, if you're keeping up with all this stuff in great detail, I had to redo the floor of my house because we had a drain pipe collapse. So I've been working on some of that stuff, just taking some time off, hanging out, and I hope you do the same. So if you've been liking the videos all year long, do not stop. Go ahead and like this one. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what you've been up to these last few weeks. Hopefully you're taking it easy, and go ahead and subscribe to see all these awesome projects that we have coming up for the next year. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all of the support. Have a happy holidays, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Happy New Year, and I will see you on the next one. I'm out.